Hello everybody, Mr. O here, and I just wanted to welcome you to Unit 3 in Calculus, where we're going to be working on limits. Woohoo! Limits is the first introduction to calculus. Limits is what makes calculus work. And we'll talk about that a little more in Chapter 4, why limits are so important when it comes to calculus. But limits are usually considered the first step to calculus, which is really awesome. Speaking of that, has anyone looked outside today? Look at this! Ah! It's snowing! Snowing! Oh, crazy. Is it snowing at your guys' house? I hope so, because, man, I was enjoying summer, and now all of a sudden, it is snowing. Woo! Anyway, I want to talk a little about a couple things, couple announcements I have. First of all, late work. A couple of you have been concerned about some late work, and I just wanted to let you know that I do not give late penalties in this class, so don't freak out. We would like you to keep up, because if you don't, well, we're not going to be able to get you where you need to be in time for the second semester. And so we do want to make sure you do keep up, so I would do your very best to keep up with my due dates in the unit. But if you fall a little behind, that's all right. Get caught right back up, okay? But there are no late penalties, just to let everybody know about that. The one thing I don't accept late are discussion boards, so do make sure you get to participate in discussion boards. If you miss one, you'll need to do an alternate assignment, and you can email me, and I'll come up with one that you can do to get those points back, okay? I wanted to let you know, good work. Keep up the hard work. Those of you are doing great. Also, you do need to know that our new discussion board is open. This discussion board is about limits, and we'll even have you guys play a little song from the Eagles. It's a 1980s song. I don't know if you guys like 80s, but it's about Take It to the Limit. Take it to the limit. And we'll have you listen to that song, and then try to come up with a couple ideas of where you think limits appear in the real world. Speaking of limits, let me show you two functions really quick so that you guys get an idea of what these functions look like, okay? This function looks very simple. Remember, a limit is nothing more than a y value. It's a y value. So if I ask you, hey, what's the limit as this function approaches 1, all you got to do is find the y value. So in the calculator, I would push trace and push 1, or you can do this mathematically, and you'll see that's the limit. The limit is just whatever the y value is. Now, it gets a little tricky because sometimes the y value is not there. And so a limit is whatever y value the function is getting closer to. For example, this function is very unique. I wrote it. It looks like that. Anyway, what happens is if I ask you what the limit is as it approaches 4, well, you would type this in, and you'd hit 4 and push enter, and look. There is no y value. There is no y value because this function is undefined. But just because it's undefined does not mean there is no limit. This has a limit. And so what you can do often, one of the ways to do limits is use a table where you plug in values really close to 4. So instead of plugging in 4, I'm going to plug in 3.999999 and push enter. And you'll notice that the limit is really getting close to 8. So that's one way to do limits. You can do them, one, using a table, using values that are really close to 4, because if you plug 4 in, it's not going to work. You're going to get undefined, okay? You can use a table, you can use a graph, or you can use algebra to simplify, and we'll talk about those all during the unit. Last function I want to show you here is this limit here. Notice that the limit as x approaches -1 coming from the negative side, oopsie, coming from the negative side is, what is that? Is 3, or 2. It's 2. But the limit approaching from the positive side is -1. So whenever you have a limit approaching from the different sides and those values aren't the same, that's when you have an undefined limit. This is an example of an undefined limit. Okay, that's just a summary, a review on limits. There's lots of lessons material that we'll get you in with, and hope you enjoy it. Other than that, keep working hard, and if you have any questions, give me a call, send me an email, text me, whatever works best for you. Look forward to working with you through this lesson, and I'll see you online. Mr. O, signing out. Enjoy the snow.